Welcome to our Latin American history lesson on the Mexican-American War. The materials you will need for today will be a piece of notebook paper or your journal, and a pen or a pencil. But before we dive into our new lesson, let's review the reflection question from our previous lesson, where we learned about causes that brought about social change and what inspired individuals to take a stand. Today, we actually have two students joining us. They not only watched our previous lessons, but they were personally inspired to respond to the reflection question, which was to think about a circumstance in your school, community, or even nationally that you may want to help change or improve, and what the steps are that you would take in order to accomplish that. So let's allow them the opportunity to share their thoughts. Hola.
Hola,
What's your name?
Catarina.
Catarina, we are excited that you're here with us today.
Thank you.
How old are you and what grade are you in?
I'm 7 years old and I'm in first grade.
Oh, look at that. Well, go ahead and tell our friends what you would like to see changed or improved.
To stop littering in the ocean and on land.
Ooh, that's a good one. And what steps would you take to accomplish that?
Going to the beach and picking up all the trash from the ocean.
Now that's impressive. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today.
You're welcome.
Hola.
Hola,
What's your name?
Alina.
Alina, how old are you and what grade are you in?
I am 9 and I am in 4th grade.
Ooh, and I hear that you're going to be a safety patrol soon.
That is correct.
Well, congratulations. I know that you have lots of people that are extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
Well, go ahead and tell our friends what you would like to see changed or improved.
I want to help the farm workers get paid more money.
Now that's a good one. What steps would you take in order to accomplish that?
I would go to their boss and I would tell them that they are helping put food in our grocery stores and in our bellies.
They sure are, and that's a really, really good one. Well, thank you, both of you, for participating today.
You're welcome.
Well, we're now going to go ahead and learn about the Mexican-American War and explain the causes and effects of it. Here are some key terms that you might want to pay close attention to as we go through the lesson. Manifest Destiny, Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and the Gadsen Purchase. Your essential question is, why do you think some Mexican Americans in the Southwest have said that they didn't cross the border? The border actually crossed them. Could it be because most of the American Southwest was once Mexican territory? Well, let's continue to learn more about that. The President of the United States at the time was James K. Polk. He wanted to have more territory and believed in manifest destiny. What is manifest destiny? I'll give you a second to think about that. Well, basically, it was the belief that the United States was meant to expand westward across the North American continent to the Pacific Ocean. Mexico wasn't particularly happy about this belief, especially since it had already lost Texas to the United States. Texas had actually won its independence from Mexico in 1836. Because President Polk believed in manifest destiny, he offered Mexico $30 million to purchase California and New Mexico. However, Mexico refused. How do you think President Polk reacted to Mexico's refusal? Well, he wasn't happy and actually provoked a fight by sending United States troops to an area between the Rio Grande and the Nueces River. That area was being disputed by Mexico and Texas. Ultimately, President Polk took advantage of the dispute and declared war against Mexico on May 13, 1846. Mexico was ultimately defeated after the Mexican-American War, which lasted 2 years from 1846 to 1848. This war helped to fulfill America's belief in manifest destiny. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo brought an official end to the war between Mexico and the United States. The treaty was signed on February 2nd, 1848. Within the terms, it highlighted that Mexico would surrender some of its territories to the United States. The enormous territory included present-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and parts of Wyoming. Mexico also recognized the Rio Grande as the United States-Mexican border and recognized the United States annexation of Texas. In 1854, the United States purchased a 29,670 square mile portion of land from Mexico for $10 million of what is now Arizona and New Mexico. This was called the Gadsen Purchase. It provided the land necessary for a southern transcontinental railroad. The United States also paid Mexico $15 million for California and agreed to pay off the claims of American citizens against Mexico. And did you know that 9 days before Mexico ceded the land to the United States in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, gold was actually discovered in California? Approximately 75,000 Mexicans stayed living in the territories that were surrounded to the United States. They were promised that they would keep their property and civil rights. I'm going to give you a second to think about that. Do you think that they ultimately were able to keep their property and civil rights? Unfortunately, the United States courts did not support those rights. Many of the new Mexican Americans lost their property and were ruined by the cost of lawsuits. Let's take a look at this review question. What is the name of the treaty that ended the Mexican-American War? Was it A, the Mexican Treaty, B, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, or C, the Treaty of Santa Anna? Let's see how you did. It's the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. As we come to a close today, you should have been able to explain the causes and effects of the Mexican-American War. There are still so many other effects as a result of this war that we are certainly going to be learning about as we discuss further and continue with our lessons in the future. But in the meantime, I believe everyone is now familiar with the key terms, which were manifest destiny, Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and the Gadsen Purchase. Thank you so much for participating today. And we also want to make sure to say thank you to our special guests that were able to be with us today and share their thoughts. Until next time, adios.